Hey, Thurston, where's your Queensland spirit now? It's time to look at LOYG. LOYG. Yes, what's the go look at league? Stu here, Dave there.
Hi, guys.
Ben there.
Hello, gentlemen.
Can I start with an apology to you fellas? I am so sorry. Why did you ever listen to me?
Because we've been
didn't have
burnt
to.
so many times before. It's conditioning. We were conditioned to think that way.
That's right.
I am talking about my strong feeling that Queensland were going to win that first day of Origin, to the point where I kind of talked my pals here into it as well. But a lot of the things were there in my face. I should have seen him. Like Harry Grant, having only played 55 minutes of NRL 4 weeks before that, looked cooked. And there was
Should have
no...
been fresh.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Lomax and Toto were only a game in front of him. They ran all the meters.
Yes, but I would say Grant a little more integral to Queensland's abilities than maybe Toto and Lomax, just despite the meters they gain. And not having... Like, we had Connor Watson to come in and give Reece a spell. They had Dearden, who's not a 9.
No. But they did look their best while he was on the field.
Yes, that's true. So I apologise, guys.
All is forgiven, Stu. Victory will do that.
Yes. So, thoughts and feelings?
Dave, please.
There's been a lot of talk, a lot of review. We've heard all sorts of levels of media talking about it, and if Nathan Cleary didn't miss all those goals, the narrative is even very different again. Like about his performance personally, and about how dominant the Blues were. 12 points doesn't sound as dominant as they were in that match, I don't think.
No. So it should have been 8 more points. Anyone putting 13 plus on, absolutely furious, of course.
Filthy.
A lot of what I've kind of read and heard, and I agree with, is that the scariest part is that New South Wales weren't even that dynamic. Like they were just kind
solid.
They were just kind of solid, and it felt more like an NRL game than a State of Origin game, in my opinion. For most of it, there were little portions like when Spencer was blowing up that they weren't going to kick off to him and all that.
My favourite moment of the game that was.
They were Origin moments, but just general gameplay felt kind of NRL-ish, probably more than I can remember ever seeing in State of Origin game.
I felt like the Blues played a very reserved style, and it was similar to a Panthers Storm. I mean, Bellamy in the coaching box probably influenced that, and so many Panthers in the team, where it was just, we have the better side. We will come over them no matter what.
Yeah.
So let's not take any unnecessary risks, and we'll just win. It felt a little bit like that was the game plan.
Yep.
Moses pitched his game perfectly in terms of not trying to do too much, but also not doing too little, I thought. What about you, Ben? Any particular thoughts?
I thought, and I'd sort of messaged you guys this throughout the game, but I thought Moses in defence was just incredible. Like they picked him, of which they were going to do, and everywhere on the field, I thought he was just incredible in defence. Like he got in front of him, he made the tackle, like made a couple of incredible defensive plays on the line, and well done to him. Well done to him.
Mitchell Moses kicks a ball like someone much larger than him, his frame, and he now tackles like someone like much larger than his frame as well.
Yeah.
They've done something. Yeah, that ankle had a little bit extra put on it.
I don't know. You don't want to get ahead of yourself, but there's a feeling that this team, could really stick together for quite a few series and play like that.
They're very young as a squad.
Yeah.
I think Edwards is the oldest.
Yeah, Edwards or Yo would be probably.
Can we give the bottom of the table Panthers? No longer the bottom of the table Panthers, but at the time of playing the bottom of the table Panthers, all of the players that played from the Panthers were just like it was Panthers of old.
Yeah.
You know, like the 4 previous seasons, those guys all played. I thought Edwards was. I didn't agree with him getting picked, but he shoved that right up my nose. He was tremendous.
Yeah.
And as was Liam Martin. Yo, as always, exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
Cleary was very, very good.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And To'o.
And throw in Stephen Crichton as an ex-Panther. He was so good.
Yeah.
The way he defended against Hammer, like let him in, and they worked together just to channel him into that V of defence, so that they let him make 20 metres, but he was never going to get a line break.
Well, when To'o went to the bin, Lomax went over to the other side, and Crichton stayed out there to essentially try and cover
2 positions,
both spots.
That's how good he is.
Yeah. So anyway,
and that was the knock on him in his first couple of years, and in his first Blues series was that he's good, but I don't think he's got the defence.
Yeah. Right. Well, shit.
Can I just say, and this is a personal thing that has nothing to do with what actually happened in the game. Well, it does a little bit, but I watched the first half at an establishment.
Yes. Your dinner that was, yep.
Correct. And that was one of the best, like just a great Origin experience, like watching it in a
venue,
in a pub. There's been a few beverages had, and with the Blues playing as well as they did, I was disappointed to leave at half time. And, lost a little bit of that luster, knowing that we were going to, into the last 20 minutes of the second half, knowing that we were
most likely going to win. Yeah.
Going to win. It would have been nice to have continued on and had that little bit of celebration in that group. But, I was very quiet at home. But yeah, like just watching it in that environment was just added additional spice to it, which was nice.
Yeah. You'd have to think Lomax has locked himself up a wing spot. Like him and To'o are just a lock now. You'd have to think.
What happens does that mean now if Tom Trebojevic is fully fit, there's still no spot?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, like where do you put him?
I guess.
There you go.
Well, I mean, I've got theories on that, but we're not talking about picking any sides yet. We'll do that another week.
What about Queensland? Did they have any bright spot? I mean, young Toya. He was the one that was questioned the most, but I think he was probably their best.
Yeah.
Yep. Looked right at home.
Yeah. Kept Latrell quiet.
Here's the thing.
Except for that pass.
Yeah, that flick.
Here's the thing, and this might just be an indication of how good New South Wales were. Queensland forwards were dominated.
Yep.
Yet, who are you dropping? Mo Fodawaker's probably the only one who's an obvious standout for who should be dropped. Because you're not going to drop Tino, you're not going to drop Paddy, you're probably not going to drop Lindsay Collins.
No.
Cotter.
No.
So
not
Nanai, no.
Not Nanai.
Nanai, no. So
not Harry
so
Grant.
Like, it really and I don't think they should drop Beau Fermor. I think he should be starting.
Yeah, well, he came on right at the end when it was all too late.
Yeah, I don't like I don't understand why you wouldn't start Beau Fermor and Nanai and have Cotter on your bench because he can do second row and middle.
Yeah, I think.
So why wouldn't you use it?
I would bet that it would be because Fermer's their backup center as well, like backline safety net
cover.
Yeah.
But he can move out there, and Cotter can go to second row.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that's probably the slightly confusing and worrying thing is that they could bring in Horsburgh, get a bit of bit of fiery red nut happening in there. But, I mean, it's either Mo Fodawaker or maybe Trent Liero you're moving in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Liero was meh.
He did his job. He wasn't bad. He didn't make a whole lot of impact either.
Yeah.
But even like when you say those names and you think about game 2, and you go, okay, well they've got Tino, they've got Pat, they've got Ruben Cotter, like these guys that are like they're international quality players.
They're the same guys that scared us into picking Queensland in the first game.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Does Billy Slater nut up and drop DCE? Drop his captain?
Well, he spent the first 2 years saying we pick and stick, right?
Yeah. I don't think he will. But if Queensland get dominated again, maybe game 3.
I wonder what the odds of that are. So DCE getting picked for game 2 and then getting dropped for game 3.
Well, the only reason you do that is to blood for the next series.
But also, like, what about team balance? Because you need someone in there who can play hooker to give Harry Grant a break.
Yep.
Dearden's a great player, not really a hooker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but Kalen Ponga wasn't a lock or wherever they played him when he came off the bench years ago.
Yeah, I know.
They had the luxury, though, of being able to do that before because I think they had probably had the advantage, like, talent-wise, but now they don't.
But
they
like,
being Queensland.
What I suggested when we were picking our sides was a Max Plath who can play 20 minutes of hooker and then be a running forward. Kurt Mann can do the same thing. Jamie Hopgood can do the same thing.
Jermaine.
Jermaine, sorry, yeah.
Plath would have been picked, in my opinion. He's just said he was out injured.
Yeah. All right, well, yeah. I mean, we've got another week or so to go before we see what happens with these teams, but...
go the Blues.
Yeah, go the Blues. DCE awful. Val Holmes awful.
No Queensland
Fodawaker
coach.
was pretty... What's that?
Sorry, Stu, I was just going to say, no Queensland coach has ever lost 2 series in a row and kept his job in all the years of Origin.
There we go. All right. Okay. Couple of little news stories before we move on to the round, eh? How about this Run It Straight challenge? You've all seen it on social media, I'm sure. Yes. And they were playing it at Four Pines on the weekend. The hill there. People were running down like that steep hill and people were chopping them at the bottom of the hill. Some dude died in New Zealand.
That's what I was just
during the last week.
I thought that I'd read that someone had died in New Zealand, and then then you've just said they were playing it at Four Pines last weekend. That didn't. What? How is it still going?
Died. Well, it's not an organised thing. It's just people going. You guys stand up there. We'll stand down here, and one at a time run down, and we'll chop you.
But again, like.
Darwinism.
The one shot of the guy that slipped just at the end. Like that is, you'd get 8 weeks for that.
It looked like the cheese rolling in England. You've seen that?
That's what I thought it was. I didn't realise what it was until I'd watched it again and then went, oh my God.
So if they can get Brandon Smith involved, it can be the cheese rolling.
Oh, very good, Dave. Thank you. And
Will South release him though.
And that's the punch we needed for the end of that. To move on to the next thing, which is this article came out about an hour before we recorded here. Travojevic is being talked to because they're both, Jake and Tommy's deals are up at the end of 26. It had the tantalising headline that Tommy could look at Super League.
Oh, what?
And yeah, well, you have to read the article. I'm going to spoil it for you, Shamus. Behind a paywall. No. Yeah, the reason he would look at Super League is because he couldn't bring himself to play against Manly. That's the bit of the...
Oh, how romantic.
...article. So, no, he's not trying to go to Super League. He's just saying that if he can't play for Manly, he doesn't know how he would play against Manly.
Well, he doesn't really play for Manly at the moment.
Corso.
But he's in... I mean, the article, he says, and the article's right. He's in a tricky situation where, he's the talent that he is. He wants to stay at Manly and contribute to Manly, but he also knows he's taking a big whack of salary cap to not play full seasons, and if it means people like Lehigh look elsewhere, then that's going to be very bad for
detrimental to the club. The Trebojevic brothers grew up at Narrabeen, though. They are Manly through and through. You would hope that they wouldn't leave, but with new franchises popping up,
because Lehigh
does it talk to anything about him taking not a heavily reduced deal, but definitely a like a 25 to 30% pay cut.
Yeah, I think he'd have to. Like that's his options, and maybe that's his way of getting it out into the press that he's willing to do that. But it's not just the pay cut. He's got to play somewhere else. Lehigh's going to want to play fullback, and he's going to want fullback money.
Oh, here's our tepid take. Lehigh is the greatest of all Hopewadies, potentially.
Yeah,
I think. I don't think he's there yet, but I think he'll have the potential to be that.
No, I think he is there yet.
You think he's already there?
I don't think
Will played rep.
Will played rep, so did John. But but I reckon, are we saying now or ever? He will be, definitely.
Yeah,
but I would argue that he's, I don't know.
Well, he's already at the point where he gets the ball and you go, "Oh, what's going to happen?" He's that guy already.
Yeah. I never felt that way about Will, I've got to say.
No, bit of a...
No, solid. Yeah. It's a solid player. Yeah. I'm not really sure why he got picked to play for New South Wales, but he did. And, maybe it's like the father-son rule in AFL, where, you at least get one crack.
And we know why John got picked for New South Wales. So
John Hopewadi, one crack. Well done, Ben.
Oh, man, I talked all over the top of that great joke. Damn it. No, we know why John was picked for New South Wales, so he could beat the shit out of Danny Williams and Matt Singh at the same time.
100%.
All right, and Brad Arthur's, it looks like he's being kind of nudged in the directions of the Titans. So Desi on shaky ground at the Titans, probably deservedly, but also, I don't know.
Is that just...
Hey, what about Jaden Campbell? Is he a Queensland... Is he eligible for Queensland?
Maybe a Blue?
Or maybe Blues because Preston was down at Penrith or whatever. Yeah, all right.
Or Cronulla.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Let's have a break. The world. It's a weird place. My name's Stuart Buckland. And some guests and I are going to look at all the weird stuff that happens in this world of ours. Is that suitably vague enough for you? Bit weird, but fair enough, I guess. Find this podcast wherever you listen to other podcasts. And let's have a look at the round that was. Where's my little tip piece of paper?
Oh dear. Here we go.
Accountability, fellas. Accountability.
I love doing tips early in the week. It's so fun.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, it hasn't mattered for some rounds. This year's been mental.
Yes.
First game on the Friday was the Dragons beating the Knights 20-6 down at Jubilee Stadium. We all had Dragons. Ben had Dragons minus 14.5.
How much did the Dragons win?
Why'd you have to say half? Yeah, 14. Dude.
All right, so no points for Ben because of that half a point.
Yeah, no points. He's but we only said Dragons, so we get points. Yeah, Knights are poo. Knights are very bad.
And then Adam O'Brien's excuse in the post was that
Origin... He's still the coach?
was that Origin and he couldn't play Ponga even though Ponga wanted to play and blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Oh, bollocks.
Yeah.
Also, all right, trade that loss for the win you got against Panthers because of Origin.
Exactly.
Far out.
But also, Fletcher Sharp, big fan.
Yeah, he's got talent.
I think he has got talent.
Yeah.
Dylan Lucas the same.
He needs to. Yeah, Dylan Lucas the same. And in spurts, Kai Pearce-Paul. Then in other spurts, not so much.
Yeah.
But I think in next 18 months, I reckon he will be. He'll be gun.
Yep. Yes, I agree.
And that's about it. So maybe Bradman Best when he comes back. He's pretty good.
Yeah, but there's only so much you can do out in the centres if not much is happening inside you.
That is true. Yeah, they've get rid of Tyson Gamble toot sweet.
Yeah.
That just needs to
You know
be a
what?
thing.
I think the strategy of getting 6 halves to add up to the quality of 1 half has not paid off for them.
Yeah, just cumulative halves. What about, hey, I wasn't Titans going down to the Storm 28-16, but I wasn't too mental.
No, that disallowed try, you were in there.
That was it, and there was a 12-point turnaround as well.
Exactly, because the Storm scored straight off the back of that. So
Yeah, and they won by 12.
there you
Therefore,
go. So you might as well
that's a
claim the
victory
point
for me.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a draw, and I'll take 1 for that. No, look, I think my thing about the Titans is that they look really good for very short portions, and then they can't complete, and they drop the ball, and they drop the ball, and they drop the ball, and I think to myself, this is a first-grade team. This is a first-grade NRL team. Surely they're not going to keep dropping the ball, and they keep dropping the ball.
And if the franchise was disbanded and all those players went up to market, nearly the entire starting team would be starting in other teams. It's it's an absolute first grade team.
Absolutely.
What a great point.
They keep losing, and I keep looking at their team and going, I don't know who to drop though.
Yeah.
Same as fucking Queensland. Same as the Queensland pack. Anyway. I obviously had Gold Coast. Ben, you had the Titans as well.
Jerome Hughes, what happened to his form from last year? Do you think he's playing injured?
Yes.
All right, there you go.
Cool. I say that with no proof,
Okay.
other than he was injured,
Yeah.
and then came back, and because they did not play well.
No, you're right. When he was out, they were ordinary. Yeah.
And so I would imagine that he's probably come back maybe 2 weeks early, and just got smashed.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you play rugby league. You just get smashed all the time, and if you're already not 100%,
and don't tell me that sides aren't going Hughes is back. He shouldn't be back yet.
Get him,
fold him. Yeah. North Queensland 32, Tigers 28. That's got a sting for Tigers fans, although it shouldn't sting because they didn't play for the first 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I had a draw, which again,
far out,
not
Stu.
4 points off.
was in the game.
Ben, you had Cows with the points over 44, so that's well and truly
covered.
Thank you.
And Dave, you had Tigers on the unders, which I don't remember what the line was, but I'm going to assume it was
matter.
more than 4.
It's wrong. Everywhere wrong.
Yeah. I don't really know what to say about these guys. They...
You're talking about our tipping, or?
No. The Tigers, they can, but they don't. Maybe that's what I
think that's what it is, Stu. They can, but they don't.
Yeah.
That's like the Titans holding onto the ball.
Yeah.
They haven't actually proven that they can for longer than 6 sets in a row.
And what's up with the Cowboys letting the Tigers come back like that? It's outrageous.
Hang on, I think the next game's got a bit of a story to it as well, hasn't it?
Manly 34, Broncos 6. I mean, we could carve off a whole episode talking about the Broncos, couldn't we?
Or even Manly doing that well without the Trebojevics.
Yeah.
So it just makes Brisbane even worse, right?
Well, I would like to not be a Queensland fan watching him on Wednesday night and then tuning in for the Friday game to see what DCE was doing.
Yeah, good point. What
That
about
I'd be livid.
Mam? So this could have almost been in your news articles.
Oh, yes.
Mam's been quoted as saying he thinks it's a bit over the top, the booing that he's getting because he stood up to racism. I'm pretty sure that's not why people at the grounds are booing him.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe someone's actually that ignorant. He might be putting it on because it was put to him. I think, it might be about the accident and the hurting the... And he said, well, like, I've, been through the process and I've got my punishment, so if people have got a problem with that, they should take it to, like, basically the courts or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
That was his response, so... Yeah, that's not good, Ezra. I think if anyone was thinking of not booing you, they will now be doubling the boos.
Yeah. I don't like that he scored that good try.
And... Yeah, Broncos far out. Like, I don't know. They... Again, like... Why? What is it?
My
You know what I think?
Yeah, go.
I don't know.
I think they're making a big mistake extending Reynolds.
Yeah.
Reynolds is supposed to be the one leading this team, and it's rudderless as. And he's not doing it. And all he's worried about is whether he's going to get extended. They should not extend him. He's not doing what he's supposed to.
Haas leading by example is the only leadership in that team.
And again, yeah, Haas backing up after Origin. I think he probably played 70 minutes, did he? Something like
that. The best thing I saw off the back of this, I can't remember who posted it. It was a tight shot of Madge Maguire with his head in his hands, and the caption was Maguire wondering what is going wrong with the Broncos' attack, and then the shot pans out, and there's the attacking coach Baz right next to him.
No. All right, South 30, Warriors 36. Every week I say the Warriors have got to falter, and they don't.
Hang on, Stu, 2 seconds. Who did we pick in the Broncos Manly game?
Oh, sorry, we all picked Broncos.
Oh dear,
Dave 20+.
Yeah.
You had -3.5 start.
Terrible.
Yeah. Well, but we had
There's a lot of whys this week. Just a lot of whys.
It's frustrating. Like, imagine, like, we're sitting here frustrated. We don't go for Broncos.
Yeah.
But imagine how Madge is feeling.
Yeah.
And then, Souths and Wars. I went Souths. Dave went Wars 13+. Ben went Wars 1 to 10.
Well done, Ben. Because the game goes for 80 minutes, not 60. Because it had a real touch of the Cowboys-Tigers game with that late resurgence from the Rabbits.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Panthers 18, Para 10. I didn't watch this, but I was looking at the updates, and it was pretty dicey looking for you in the first half, wasn't it, Dave?
Well, yes and no. Like, Eels at one point were up 10-6, but... So did you watch this one, Ben?
Yeah, I watched probably 80% of it.
Because I was going to ask you, and it's a shame you didn't see it, Stu. For me, this was actually... no, it's not. It's the second highest quality game of the round for me. The last one was for me. But I thought it was a really high quality game. The commentators said 3 or 4 times that this can't be two bottom 4 teams. This makes no sense. Like, this is feels like a top 8 game. Probably one of the best games. Well, probably the best game of the year for both teams. It's just Eels lost.
Because it feels like this competition isn't like one long competitions. It's little sections.
Yeah.
And the teams that were, bottom teams in the first section aren't necessarily in the next section.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
All the things Cleary got criticised for not doing in Origin, he nailed in this game. He got the 40-20, his kicking game in play was perfect, and he didn't miss a goal. So, and Mitchell Moses is what kept them in the game. He has flubber on his boots. Didn't matter where Penrith kept the Eels pack to. If it was 20 metres out, 30 metres out, or near the ball landed on the 10-metre line, every kick from Moses. It's astonishing.
Well, we all picked Eels for that one. And the last game, Raiders 26, Roosters 24. Same deal for me as the Warriors. I keep waiting for the Raiders to fade, and they ain't doing it because they're the real deal, man.
Well, they've been like this so many seasons recently where each game is decided by 6 or less points. It's just that they're on the right side of it this year, and it makes that much difference.
Yeah. And I've been waiting to see the Ethan double deal. Sanders and Strange in the halves together, and it looked good, didn't it?
They were very good.
Yeah.
It was that, and again, that was a cracking game.
Very good. The Roosters,
but we all
very cracking.
We all tipped Raiders, and I think we were maybe we quite conservatively just went to head on that one. So yes to us.
What are your thoughts on Tom Starling's
mustache?
Tackle in the last 60 seconds.
Oh, I think I missed that. Was Tom Starling playing?
I thought he didn't play.
Was it? Oh no, I'm confused.
Oh, yeah, Tarpany. It's Tarpany.
Tarpany. Oh yeah, right.
Was it the Tarpany one you're talking about? Or Starling the week before, which is why he didn't play last week because he got suspended.
That's right, because he got suspended. I got confused.
I might just move on if we're not sure.
On. Edit that out.
All right, so let's look at what's coming up then. Thursday, 7:50 on at McDonald Jones Stadium, Knights and Eagles. Yeah, look, I don't want to tip Eagles because I want them to suck.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm going to have to because Knights suck even more. And, I guess they might get the good DCE again. Who knows? Thoughts?
Well, who's got the best player on the ground?
Well, who's
Pong is meant to be playing.
Pong is the most expensive player on the ground.
That's not what I asked though.
Lehigh Opawati is the one that we're saying is
That's
in the best
what I
form.
reckon. Yeah, he's probably the best player on the field.
Fletcher Sharp's in good nick too, though.
He is.
Yeah.
He's back to 5'8" with Ponga back. So.
And Knights have no forwards. Saifidi out. Thompson out. Adam Elliott out. This is their pack. Frizzell, Crossland, Brodie Jones, Lucas, Pierce-Paul, Croker, with Kant, McEwen, and Salasea Lamanona on the bench. They got no one. No offense to those guys, but that's scraping the bench of Rezzies. But Jackson Hastings, 18th man.
Wow. Imagine.
How about that?
He's getting closer.
Right, tips please.
I will take the Sea Eagles straight up. I don't know. It could be by 1,000.
Yeah. It's the safest tip. Yeah, I think so. Yep, same for me.
Yeah, same. I don't trust that they'll be spectacular, but I know that Knights won't.
You reckon that means Adam O'Brien had to say Jackson Hastings' name this week when he organised the team? Oh, amazing. Anyway,
shouldn't they? If the players hate him so much, shouldn't he say, "You win this week, boys," or he's straight in there? Shouldn't that be the stick? Anyway, Storm v Cowboys, Friday 6 p.m. at Amy Park. Give me some tips, fellas.
All right, I'm going to go Storm, and I'm going to go over 64.5 points for the total for the game.
Wow, 64.5?
Yeah, I'm going to say the same, but I think Storm's going to score over 40 of them.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to say Storm. Again, Cowboys too hot and cold. What about my fucking phone's locked? I'm trying to write. I'm trying to look. It's all over the shop. Dolphins and Dragons. That's at Suncorp.
I'm going to go Dolphins because it's in Queensland, but if it was in Sydney, I'd probably pick the Dragons.
Yeah,
so
that's
Dolphins with a short line.
Well, how about this though? Dolphins $1.53, Dragons $2.52. What do you make of that?
Plath and Marshall King on the extended.
Yeah, okay.
Then there'll be a more balanced side again, the Finns.
I suppose maybe is there a few outs for the Dragons as well? Maybe.
Look at their
Jaden
halves.
Sewer's out. Yeah.
Look at their halves.
Yeah. All right.
I'll take Dolphins 13 plus.
Yep.
I think the week's rest will have given them a little bit of pep in their step.
Right. Okay. I agree. Dolphins for me, Dave.
Yeah, Dolphins.
Beauty. All right, Sharkies and Waz. That's at Shark Stadium. Ben, are we going to get to a game this year or what?
Sounds good to me.
When though? And there's only
Not
two
this weekend.
There's only 2 seats at Shark Stadium, and we've got to get them before anyone else.
I've never been there.
Oh, Dave, you're welcome. Very welcome to come. If I don't know how to get tickets, but we'll try.
I'll call some people.
Yeah.
How
odds?
Now I know we're playing at Shark Park. How are the Sharks $1.50 to the Warriors $2.63?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I mean, the outs are mainly
Barnett
out mainly, isn't it?
Huge.
Yeah.
Out. That's on top of all the other forwards they lost early in the year. So
Halasima's starting. Capewell in the centres. So it really is.
You know what it is.
But it's just Barnett out.
Katoa's back.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Hello.
See.
Yes.
Well, Warriors keep winning when I think they won't. So what am I supposed to do here?
Oh, because you think they won't, so you have to tip them.
Yeah. And if I tip them, I'll tip Warriors. Because if Warriors win, then I'm brilliant. If Sharks win, then I'm a dickhead, but I'm happy.
I reckon Ramian is going to do a number on Kurt Capewell in the centres.
Well, yes. Okay. Ramian's been
hot and cold
this year for sure.
Because it's all the action's been on the other side with KL.
Yes. All right. I'm Teague Wilton's back in.
Yeah.
I don't know why Billy Burns is back to extended. I thought maybe he could have taken Rory Calhoun's spot on the bench, but anyway, fair enough. Whatever.
I'm just going to take the Sharks straight up.
Yep.
I think they have shown that they can play well against sides that are very good.
Yeah.
And less well against sides that aren't as very good.
Yes. Maybe a bit less being high on their own supply after the buy round, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, who did you say, fella? Sorry, I missed it.
Sharks, probably 13 plus.
13 plus. Right, yeah.
Can I take that now? Like, can I just have that? Can we have that win?
Oh, okay. All right. Tell me what I do here, boys. Broncos and Titans at Suncorp. And this is Broncos are $1.32, Titans $3.40. That's not right.
Carrigan back to lock.
Kobe Hetherington back to the bench.
Yep.
I believe they've moved Willison out of the second row now onto the bench, and Piacora starting.
Okay.
Oh, and Reece Walsh is back as well.
He is.
So Cobo on the wing.
Yeah, that is I guess a bit of a scarier
side. Rolled
side.
out in a long time.
Yeah, I don't think Jesse Arthurs will be playing fullback ever again, but I'm still going Titans, boys. I mean, what do you want from me?
Ooh. So, Stu, are you saying that for the rest of the year, we don't need to worry about getting your tips for any of the games?
No, I'm not an idiot, but Broncos side is not inspiring. and Foran is there in the halves. That gives
That is
me.
true.
I don't know about Tom Weaver. I don't know that he was that.
Weaver.
I don't know that he was that spectacular. But there's no AJ. There's no. Oh, AJ's unextended.
I just find it very difficult.
I just started
look
writing
at
Titans
those.
in there for you, Dave, by accident.
No,
Sorry,
thank
mate.
you. I want Broncos, please.
All
Jaden
right.
Campbell being shifted to fullback, he'll be good, but I don't know.
Okay, Ben.
Yeah, I'm going to have the Broncos, and I will have the Broncos minus 4.5.
Okay. Writing your own line. That's
It's
That's
Tom,
bold.
Tom Waterhouse stuff right there.
How dare.
What happened to him? Anyway, that's for another day.
That's for the off season.
Yes. Do we have any more games? We sure do.
Yeah.
Raiders and Rabbits. Let me hear ya. Let me hear ya.
I'm going to get in early. I'm going to go the Rabbits.
Oh, Dave.
Yeah.
They've got their
It's
likewise best team they've trotted out all year, I think.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
is. It is their best team all year.
Cody and Whitenback.
Yep.
Ben?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bunnies too.
All right. I'm going to have to take the Raiders because...
Because that's a better pick.
Well, yeah, probably.
Look, sorry, can we...
They're at home too, aren't they, Raiders? Yeah, GIO Stadium.
Yep. Canberra.
Yeah.
Just a shout out to Alex Johnston.
Oh, for his 200, yeah.
200.
He's only got not many to get to beat Ken Irvine.
13. Needs 13.
Yep.
A lot of
Today,
shit
Irvine
chat
behind.
this week about Alex Johnson not being that good and just falling over the line for his 200 tries. That's
Oh, okay.
You heard that?
In 100+ years, no one else has been able to do that. That's weird.
Yeah, it's stupid.
This is very good at falling over.
Speaking of Tigers, v Panthers at Combank, of course.
Oh, jeez.
But that's a Tigers home game.
Yeah.
But it's at Combank.
Yeah. Crazy world we live in.
Let's go, boys.
Panthers 13+.
Panthers 13 plus.
Yeah, I like that.
Garner and
Panthers 13+.
Papali'i on the extended. If they do come back into the team, they're full strength. Penrith, first time this year.
I agree with you, boys. Panthers 13 plus. Although, does Luai have a point to prove? Is that enough?
Yeah, no. Yes and no.
All right. Well, he could have been proving it all season, really. Bulldogs and Eels is the Monday game for the long weekend.
That'll be a ripper.
Yeah.
I want to pick the Eels. I just can't.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, dogs for me as well. And I'll have a sneaky little try scorer here.
Go on, mate.
Raz?
I'm gonna have my mate Iongi.
Oh, yeah.
Is he even in the side?
Yeah, of course he is.
Of course he is.
Youngie at the back.
All right. And that's us. Thank you, fellas.
Thanks.
Have an NRL of a time. It's back. My sign-off's back. Have an NRL of a time.
Thank you.
LOYG. Yeah, open up, Dave.
I was
Open
hoping
up
you were
to
going to
us.
say you were going to find a photo of Mark Tukey.
Were you? Is that what you were hoping? Wow.
This is an Angry Chimp podcast.